Yeah, that's me. You might be wondering how I got into this situation. Woke up at 6 a.m. to go pee and immediately went back to sleep. Woke up at 8 a.m., got dressed as quick as possible, but I was still 10 minutes late for my 8:30 class. The teacher didn't allow me in, but I stayed outside in the cold until the class was almost over. It was my fault and I needed to suffer for it because I never learn otherwise. This is loop 3 out of 50 of being stuck in a weekly time loop. I'll grow from the experiences I gained from previous loops to get just a bit better and break free. I also had an exam with her just right after, so I couldn't leave. If only I had woken up 10 minutes earlier, I wouldn't have been kicked out. This is me, the same guy who promised would wake up at 6 a.m. but couldn't even wake up at 7:50. But while I was waiting outside in the cold, she came outside for a call and saw me. She let me sit the exam, which I passed, and also didn't mark me absent. She didn't need to do that. I was the one in the wrong. In the end, by staying outside and not giving up, I managed to pass my exam and also keep my attendance. But I have to stop being late. That would genuinely shock my classmates because I get late most of the time. That's something I want to change. I'm acting like someone who's 45 having a midlife crisis in my 20s. Just because I wasted time being very on and off these past few years, I'm acting like my whole life is over when I have my whole life ahead of me. Just because of one major setback, I'm ruining my life and getting more and more distant from the person I imagined who I will be when I look at myself in the mirror. Some days I don't even recognize him, and most days I avoid that guilt. Looking away out of the shame and guilt of all the broken promises that molded him. There's no better time other than the present. As I'm stuck in this loop, time has stopped for me. While others are stuck in the same place, I can improve leaps and bounds. But even if this opportunity has been given to me, if I still lived the same life as usual, I would just waste away, never breaking away, and instead will be stuck in a never-ending loop of regret. I had a main subject, but I didn't even study a single word before going to class. And even though it was only the second time meeting madam, she directly said, "Kusula, why aren't you studying? You have to come to class studying." Well, that was depressing. And I kind of faltered again, started again thinking about my past regrets and what I could have done different. Guess that's just my way of escaping my problems. Some do it by binge eating, others do it by smoking, but me? What I do is go to a fantasy land of a past with no mistakes, while still making mistakes now, which in turn are the mistakes future me regrets on and tries to fix in Fantasyland. Get it? It's a never-ending loop, and not the good kind. Today I had an exam, and as usual, I only studied about 2 hours before the exam. When the teacher asked questions, for the first few questions, I actually answered pretty good. But one question I answered wrongly and she scolded me, "Don't you hear my question?" But then I thought, nah, never am I gonna get disrespected like this ever again. I'm gonna be always over-prepared than under-prepared, and there's no point in blaming the teacher. If I was undeniable, she wouldn't have no choice but to pass me, even if she was angry. Not giving anyone else the chance to dictate my life. All the cards are in my hand. And what am I, in middle school again? I'm not gonna leave things to the absolute last second and be better prepared always. That's my promise for all future loops. I learned a lot from this past loop, and the biggest is that the cause of my downfall is that because I act on impulses immediately, not caring whether if they are good or bad for me. And also because I want dramatic transformations when in actuality life is changed in what you do in the small boring moment. Next week I'll try to use what I learned and try to follow a routine because that's what messed me up the most this week. If this story resonates with you, subscribe and join me on this journey. See you guys in loop 4.